Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. It's Olivia. Today's video, as always, is going to be a fun one. Today I'm going to be doing my makeup inspired by my favorite album. Now I have a bunch of favorite albums, so this is probably going to be like an ongoing series. But today, our first album that we're going to cover is going to be A Fever You Can't Sweat Out by Panic! At the Disco. Now I know the ending of Panic! At the Disco was arguably rather incredibly disappointing, but at least at the beginning of it, the height of it, Panic! At the Disco was generally awesome, and I think most people can agree to that. So this is going to be honoring one of their best albums, Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Let's get to it. Alright, as always, I'm going to start off by clipping my hair out of my face because nobody likes foundation in their hair. A lot of my look that I'm going to be getting inspired from today is going to be from the actual cover art of the album. Very infamous. I'm sure we've all seen it. I Write Sins on Treasures came off this album, so it's very well known. I like the maroons, the color story of it. A lot of the music videos have the same kind of 1920s-esque vibe to it, kind of like a raunchiness to it. So I'm going to use that kind of vibe today to inspire my look. Alright, getting started. To prime my face, I just use the Dr. Brandt Luminizing Primer all over the skin. For foundation, I'm going to use what I always do, which is just the Maybelline Matte Poreless Foundation. And this might be cliche, but I think one of my favorite songs off the album is definitely Lying's the Most Fun a Girl Can Have. I just think vocally, I think Brendan really, I really always liked when he sang into his lower register. I wish he would have done that more throughout his career because TBH, had he done that, he probably wouldn't be having the vocal strength that he has now. Had he just actually played in what suited his voice better, which for me I think was the lower ranges. And I wanna believe. Okay, moving on to concealer. Oh, wow. That is blending like an absolute dream. Now, I want to do kind of like a darker, purpley, more blush today for this look. I think it'll fit the vibe better for what I'm picturing in my head for this look. So we're going to go in with Baked Birthday. This is a Jeffree Star liquid blush, and this is a more pinky tone than the normal peach tone I would wear. We're just going to do 2 little dots and see how far that gets us. Oh, also the nose. Never forget the nose. Alright, now I'm going to set the face with the ColourPop No Filter Setting Powder in Soft Pink. This is my favorite. I use this all the time. I finally washed my makeup brushes the other day, and it's literally like having new brushes all over again. Okay, the face is set. Now, like I said, I want a more purple blush for this because I feel like that really encapsulates the Fever Can't Sweat Out vibes. So we're going to go in with this darker, more purple tone blush because I think that's what I want. That's what feels like this album. This album is dark and moody. I feel so I feel like for a lot of artists, the music that you make when you're 20, you can never recreate that because you have the natural spunk and angst of an early 20-year-old just coming out of their teens. You still kind of have the teen natural the teen spunk, and I really feel that A Fever You Can't Sweat Out truly is that teen to early 20s transition into life. It's all the feelings and emotions that come with that. And now I'm going to take this more brown shade and I'm going to push that up towards my cheekbones to kind of almost bronze but with blush. Now we're going to buff it out. Okay, now, when I think of a color palette for this album, I'm thinking blues and maroons. So we're going to do something along that nature. I'm almost thinking maybe smoke out a maroon, add some glitter, and then maybe cut the crease and do a bright blue. I kind of like that idea. You know what? Let's do that. Now, going into my brand new Tarte Maneater palette, I think we're going to start off with this really pretty transition brown down here, and we're going to blend that all out into the crease. This is shade Paws Off. This is probably the most expensive eyeshadow palette I've ever owned. Don't worry, I did not pay the $54 for it. I got it for $13 on sale the other day for Black Friday. So we're just going to start by putting that Paws Off in the crease and all over the lid and up to the brow bone to give us something nice to work with, to really pile on our maroons and blues that we're going to do once we get there. I've said it before and I'll say it again. There is no eyeshadow that I love more than a good transition brown, and this Paws Off is a good transition brown. Also, this is a side note, but I would just like to say I'm very impressed that this palette came with a huge mirror. So many people are charging $50, $60 for palettes, and they're not even coming with a mirror. I feel like a good palette comes with a mirror. That's all I gotta say. Another song off that album that honestly I probably like more than A Fever You Can't... Pause. Another song off the album that I probably like even more than Lying's the Most Fun is Build God, Then We'll Talk. First off, the first thing I have to say about that song is the the like orchestra instruments in that song, absolutely beautiful. There is nothing I love more than when a song has like heavy like cello, violin, or just something of that nature in it, and you literally have like an entire like almost like solo like of like that like kind of like deep, dark, mysterious instrumental. It's just, oh, so beautiful. Okay, and like I said, I want to keep this very like maroony. We're gonna go into the Whatever palette by ColourPop, and I'm gonna go into the shade called Maybe Later up here, this one right there, and I'm gonna put that on the same blending brush, and I'm gonna put that into the crease to start building more color. Holy cow, that was pigmented. Okay, just did that. And this is kind of like orangey toned. I want to make it go a little more purple, so I'm gonna dig around in the palettes and find like a purple that I want. Okay, I think we're gonna go into this shade right here called Vixen. I'm gonna lightly tap that with the same brush I've been blending everything else out with. And now for that, I'm gonna put that on the outer third of the eyelid, and then I'm gonna start deepening up the crease with this purpley shade. Oh yeah, I definitely like that shade. See, we're getting kind of that like album cover maroon color that I wanted to go for. All right, now I want to deepen what we have going on up. So I'm going to go into the Whatever ColourPop palette again. I'm going to go into this shade right here called Mr. Brightside on like a flat, dense packing brush. I'm just going to tap into that shade on this brush, and I'm just going to start putting it on the outer third of my eyelid to really deepen up the look. I think officially this album was marketed as like purples, maroons, coppers, stuff like that. But to me, I also feel like this album has like a blue vibe to it, almost like a dark sparkly blue somewhere in the like just somewhere in the music. I get that from that. So that's why our next step is we're gonna go with blue. And I was looking at pictures of them on tour from this era, and like Ryan would literally do like this whole part of his face purple, and then he would do like the black and white stripes and stuff like that. So definitely gonna incorporate purple into this look to stay true to like what they actually did do. And then the blue is kind of like how I feel this album would be kind of color wise. So I have the general shape packed on where I want it of the purple, so I'm gonna go with this fluffy blending brush and just blend it out to make it more seamless. I feel like this is kind of giving like glam black eye. Now I think our next step is gonna be to cut the crease and add blue. There's a sparkly blue in this Maneater palette that is just like calling to me, this real bright teal. So let's cut the crease and let's pack that on. This is either going to make or break the look, so please Lord, don't let me mess this up. Now when I cut my crease, I always say I'm cutting the crease, but I usually only ever actually cut half of it. Now today I'm going to cut it a little differently than I normally would. I normally kind of do it like where I stop like right here, but today I'm going to try to like make it like come down and like connect. I'll do it and then I'll show you so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, like that. You see how instead of making it narrow, I kept it very wide? That's what we're doing it for here today. And of course, I'm going to tap where I stopped with my concealer to blend that in. Perfect. Right, now let's go into the blue, pack that on top of the wet concealer, and see what happens. Oh, I think it's going to be fantastic. Let me finish packing that on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have that blue completely on. I'm really liking how this looks. To help transition this a little more, I'm going to go into this real deep, dark blue right here. I'm going to put that on my finger. I'm just going to smear that between the two colors. I'm just going to take a clean finger, lightly tap that dark blue. Really pretty. I like the pan pressings in this palette. Very fancy. Just like that. And if you lose some of the purple, it's totally fine because we can go back into that purple and repack it on. Which I do feel like we lost too much of that purple, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go back into that and I'm going to repack it on. And then I'm just going to lightly sweep back and forth to blend the blue with the purple. And now for the inner corner, I think I'm going to go into this Blowing Smoke palette by ColourPop, and this real bright silver, I'm going to put that in the inner corner. Hopefully it's not too dark of a color that it kind of like just doesn't give what I want it to give. I'm going to go put that on and let you know if I liked it or not. Okay, silver is on, and I actually don't hate it. So I'm going to do the other eye, and I'll be right back. Now, I have this really pretty maroon Super Shock shadow. It's called Drift. I'm going to put that on my finger, and I'm going to smear that on the under lash line with that purple that we put there earlier. Okay, see, to me, this is giving very A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, which also I haven't mentioned it yet, but I also just love the name of the album. I like how like kind of like quirky it is. I think it's very creative. A Fever You Can't Sweat Out. Like, it's just, I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot. If you cannot tell, I was religiously obsessed with Panic at the Disco at one point in my life. I finally saw them in concert when I was in like 8th grade, and I literally cried during Girls, Girls, Boys. So now, normally I would love a good wing, But honestly, I think I want the focus of this makeup to really be the blue, like the eyeshadow itself. I don't really want to like put a wing to like distract from that. So I think we're just going to go straight onto mascara and the eyeshadow. We're going to let her shine by herself today. Now, I have this really cool red mascara I've been dying to use. I don't necessarily know if red goes completely with this look, but I'm going to put on my bottom lash line regardless because I don't care and I want to, and that's good enough. They have a wine colored one called Wine O'Clock that would probably go a lot better with this, but I don't have it. I do wish I had it, but oh, see, I feel like that's a fun little addition. I know the guys wore a lot of eyeliner during this era, so I'm considering putting a black in the waterline. Okay, I definitely feel like that red mascara added a fun little touch of color. I do think black needs to go in the waterline. I feel like this was the era of waterlining, guy liner, everything, so I feel like it's not right to have a look inspired by this album if I don't have the look of the era, which was literally messy black eyeliner. Okay, after stabbing myself in the eye a few times, we have gotten what we wanted. Okay, we are coming to an end with the eyes. I'm just going to pop on some of the e.l.f. Lash and Roll for mascara. I also feel like this album is definitely like a bunch of like pop, like emo indie guys being like, hey guys, we know big words. And then it's just like, because a lot of this album is like, honestly, like kind of like lyrically genius. There's so many like sentences that just like flow and it's like just like these huge exaggerated words that, I mean, they could have used a simpler word for half the stuff they're conveying in the album, but they didn't. The true essence of what makes this album so special is the fact that they chose such funky words. Anyways, nonetheless, eyes are done. I'm so happy how they look. I really feel like this encapsulated like how I feel this album is color-wise and just how I feel about this album is this. It's time for lips. I'm feeling brown for the lips. I'm gonna go dig around, find some stuff that I think will work. I'll be right back. I'll show you what I get. Alright, I'm back. I decided on e.l.f. and Jeffree Star. I'm feeling a very brown, nudie, pinky tone lip though. So we're gonna use an e.l.f. Cream Glide lip liner. This is shade Baddest Beige, slay. And this is Jeffree Star Supreme Gloss in shade Gemini. Alright, the lips are lined. Now it's time for gloss. I've never used this before, so this is also like a first impressions. This is a very interesting applicator. Why is it shaped like that? Anyways, this is like very like sweet smelling, and I don't know if I like that. It's kind of like a little overwhelming. Other than the fact that this literally tastes like a cupcake, but almost in a bad way to me. The formula is wonderful. That went on like butter, like wow. And the pigment's there. This is a beautiful color, I will say. I just realized I never did my eyebrows. I'm gonna do that now. This is a side note, but does anybody else remember watching the Girls Boys music video for the first time and feeling like it was something that you weren't supposed to be watching? Because I know damn well I thought that my mom was gonna walk in and be like, "What are you watching?" I was gonna be like. For highlight today, I'm actually going to highlight with a Super Shock shadow. Anyways, for highlighter, I'm actually going to highlight with a Super Shock shadow. This is shade Ice Dream. It's a white with like blue reflect in it, and I don't know. I just feel like that's the vibe I'm going for. And I like that it's like a dual chrome glitter too, so it's giving multiple colors at once. And I love that. Now on that note, it's time to set the face, and that's it. As always, I'm using my ColourPop Pretty Fresh setting spray. Love this stuff. I've yet to find a setting spray that I like more than this. Yes. It even smells quite pleasant too. It has like a slight like coconut kind of smell. It almost smells like baby wipes, but like in a good way. Alright, besties, the face is done. You know what that means? It's time for a kind of joking, kind of serious baddie edit. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's wrap up this video. Now, I would just like to say that I'm not a music reviewer. I don't have official things to say about music in an eloquent way. I just know that I love this album. This album will always have a special, deep place in my heart. My car can only play CDs. This was a CD I had, so for a majority of high school, I was always bumping this album. This was one of the only albums that me and my little sister both liked, so it was something that we could bond on. We could wake up, go to school, listen to Time to Dance or something off the album on the way to school, go to school, have a good day, end school, listen to the album again. So it's just, it has a very special place in my heart. No matter where Panic at the Disco ended up, at one point in time, it was awesome. I think that we can all agree on that. This is like makeup that I feel embraces how I feel about the album, whether you feel that way or not. This album is definitely blue, maroons, red. I think it's a fun album. I think there's a lot of themes in it that are very cool to listen to in the way that they express it. I think it's very moody, and I think it definitely captures what it is to be like an 18-year-old. So overall, love this album. Love this makeup look that I did. I will definitely be continuing this series with other albums that I like. So Let me know if you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. I will see you next time I post, and that is all. Bye!